Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Mommy and a Mic. My name is Barbie Familetti, and we are doing this series. This is episode 2 of a series where I get to interview my husband, Peter. Peter, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you.
We're back, and if you listened to the previous episode, we talked about his new adventure of him doing this thing called 75 Hard, which is 75 days of all this hard stuff. So, can you please review what are the things that you have to do every single day?
Yep, so I have to do two workouts, both 45 minutes apiece, and one has to be outside. To drink a gallon of water a day, read 10 pages of a book, stick to a diet, and take a progress pic every day.
Okay, so those are the 5 things that you have to do every day. And if you miss one of those things, what happens?
You start over from the beginning.
Okay, and you are on day 7, is that right? And have you missed any
No,
items?
I have not missed it all, so it's been a little challenging at times, but I've been getting through it. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, honestly. Like I said, there's some times where you get a little bit of challenges.
So, of those 5 things, is there one that stood out to you as, oh man, I gotta do this one again today? Or like one that's like the hardest for you to get done?
I would say probably the two 45-minute workouts. It's without having a rest day, without having any day to relax, take it easy, let your muscles heal, everything like that. It's difficult, but I get through it, and it's trying to fit it into your life too. And our boys swim meet, and we had to run
Yes.
out, and on a Sunday where you hope to get a little bit more sleep
Yeah.
on some days and a little, rest in, and it's, nope, we got to get to this. So I got to get up early. I got to get my
Yeah.
workout in to make sure I get the morning one done. And then
Right.
we can go do all of our stuff. Brought my lunch.
Yeah. And just so you know, guys, he's doing this while working a full-time job.
Yes.
So your days off fall on Thursday, which is today. That's why we
Mhm.
can record this right now,
Yes.
and Sunday. And I remember Saturday when he got home from work, I asked him because our son was in a 2-day swim team tournament, so he had to meet on Saturday and to meet again on Sunday. And Saturday night, I asked you, I said, "So, are you planning to come to his swim meet tomorrow?" And you had this deer in the headlights look. And I was
Yeah.
like, "But babe, it's his final swim meet of the season. You don't
Yeah.
want to miss it, do you?" And
And
your
I
face
don't.
just said, I don't know."
Yeah, I don't want to miss it at all. That's why. But at the same time, I guess maybe I forgot about it, and I had a plan of what I needed to get done because I still had to get meals prepped, cooked, both my 45-minute workouts, everything that I needed to get done. And it, I was trying to figure out how do I get all of this done?
Yeah,
I don't want to miss, but I also don't want to miss life too. So
yeah,
it's working all of this stuff in. So it's just me trying to figure out in my head at that moment,
yeah.
how do I get all this done and still be able to go and get it all prepped and ready. So
I think you started this thing on a Friday, and that was so you went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that was like I would say that I saw on your face, your wheels were turning. That was probably
yeah,
like your first obstacle of, oh, I'm in this challenge, but this is something I want to do. And
yeah.
how did you work it out?
I got up early. I did my workout in the morning, and then the swim meet didn't start until 12. So I guess I had a lot more time than I thought I did.
That's good.
I got up a little earlier. I got the workout done, then made my breakfast, and then started making all of my meals,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were okay. So it worked out. It's just, again, it's just and that's part of this challenge is trying to figure out how to constantly with changing your changing your ideas of what a day is like. It's not, you don't have to be a couch potato. You don't have to not do things because struggles come before you. You have to just figure it out,
Right.
every day and
As you
figure
go.
it out and how you get better and how you keep moving forward. So that's what I did. I just figured it out.
That's awesome. I'm
So,
glad you were able to do the swim meet and all the stuff that you needed to
yeah.
do. I will say I've noticed last night was a perfect example. I've noticed you've been tired at
Mhm.
night more because this is wearing you out a little bit. Last night I think you went to bed at 9 o'clock.
Yes, which I don't go to
Which
bed at nine
you've
o'clock.
never done. I don't think
Between
I've
10
ever.
and 11, maybe. It's usually when I go to sleep, and I was just toast. I was so
Yeah.
tired.
You only go to bed that early if you're like sick or, you
Yeah,
have a fever or something, but that was very out of the ordinary.
yeah, yeah. It's just, it wears on you a little bit. Last night, I did my outside workout in the rain, did a walk in the rain because it's
That's right.
raining. There's no stopping. You still have to get done what you got to get done.
Yeah.
I did my workout, came home, ate a little something, sat down with our boy and just hung out with him, and then realized I had to get my 10 pages in
Oh,
that I didn't have done yet. So I we were doing a little game on my phone, golf battle or whatever, and I was like, okay, you're gonna keep playing the game, and I'm gonna read my book.
yeah.
So it's just figuring it out. I knew I was super tired. I knew once he went to bed, I was gonna want to go to bed pretty soon after, and I did. But yeah, it's just trying to find it all the right ways of getting it done.
And that was the other thing. You brought the book to the swim meet, and there was some downtime in between races, and you read the 10 pages
Yep.
on the bleachers at the swim meet
Yes.
while took notes of some stuff on my notebook.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just squeeze it in.
Every time every day it's just finding a way. But yeah, I've completed a full week. I'm on day 7.
Let's talk about your results so
So,
far. What have you noticed?
so far, and doing all of this on a completely different diet. So, doing it on the carnivore diet. So, my body has had to adapt and change throughout this to get into ketosis and get into it. Honestly wasn't that bad. I didn't notice getting into ketosis like keto flu, which a lot of people get, or
Hmm.
having any of those issues. I do feel a lot of the things that people talk about, which is a little bit more being more awake and aware during the day,
Hmm.
like a little bit more of a mental clarity kind of thing.
Wow. Like less fogginess, less
Yeah,
dragging yourself around.
yeah, I went from eating anywhere from 5 to 6 meals a day
Right.
to now eating 3 meals. I started at 3 meals a day. Now I'm pretty much mostly down to 2 meals a day.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, pretty much down to 2 meals a day. I woke up this morning tired. It was my day off, so I wanted to get a little more rest.
Hmm.
And I slept until what, 8 o'clock, which I went to bed around 9:30.
Oh, wow. That's 11 hours.
I was fried. I was really tired.
But here I want to
Um,
point something out really quick. As we're recording this, it's 11:30 a.m. and you woke up, you did a workout, and you still haven't even had breakfast. Like, how
no,
are you feeling right now?
I feel great. I don't get hungry as much anymore.
Why didn't you eat breakfast? You just
I
weren't
just,
hungry?
I wasn't hungry.
And you're still not.
No, not really. I
So
mean,
weird.
I know. It's last night I had a third meal and I ate pretty big during the day with a good amount of eggs. I ate a lot of eggs.
What was
I
your
ate,
third meal?
so I had steak, a chuck roast that I had made.
That big
Um,
steak?
yeah, but I only had a smaller piece.
He made his steak so big it looked like a T-Rex. I was like, what are you
So,
cooking over here?
but I cut off a piece of it. I put it in a pan, put it with butter, and then cooked 2 eggs over easy. on the side, and then basically put that over the top of it.
And let the yolks run over as you
Yes,
cut into it.
yes.
Mm.
So a lot of fat, it's a chuck steak, so it's already a fatty piece of meat. Then I added fat with the butter, and then added
Right.
the eggs. So and the eggs were cooked in butter. So it's a lot of fat. And honestly, I ate it. It wasn't a huge piece,
Mm-hmm.
but after I ate it, I felt like maybe I shouldn't have.
Did you
Like,
have a tummy ache or something?
yeah, I was a little like nauseous, a little, wow, that was a lot of food. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, but I'm realizing I don't need as much food.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really strange because I'm doing more work.
Right. Double workouts every day
Yeah,
that you didn't do before.
yeah. I woke up, I wasn't even hungry.
Do you think
I
that
did.
big meal of all that carried you through to right now? Like it just,
Yeah,
you're still burning it, you're still digesting it,
yeah.
whatever.
I know I'm in ketosis. There's a smell to my pee.
Really?
Yes,
Have
that
you
you
peed
can
on the
tell.
strips
I
yet?
don't have them, and I thought I did, but
Oh, that's
I have
more
to get some more.
curious.
But yeah, I
Oh,
know I'm in ketosis. I know I am. Like I'm burning fat like crazy.
what's your, talk about your result, like numbers. Give me some
Yeah,
numbers.
so I did it last week when we did this.
Yeah.
I was at 230.
Yes, and we went to Chinese food for
Yeah,
lunch.
yeah, because I was like, I'm getting all my stuff in.
Your
So
last hurrah.
I had Chinese food for lunch. I had some ice cream. I had a big thing of popcorn that night.
Didn't you have a cinnamon roll at
I
some
did
point?
have a sticky bun the day before, the night before. I think that was my dinner. So yeah,
You
yeah, I
went
ate like a
you
lot
went
of
all
stuff.
out.
And actually, by the time I did all of that and I looked the next morning, I was 233.
So 3 pounds you
So
gained of eating,
yeah, and it's mostly
but
water. You're holding
yeah,
back
the salt
sodium
from the
from the
Chinese food.
Chinese food and that kind of
Totally.
thing. Yeah. So now that was 230.
Not
Uh,
counting the
I didn't,
Chinese food
yeah, because
salt blow up.
I didn't count it for that. That's cheating almost.
Yeah, like you
Um,
puff yourself up so you could lose more weight.
yeah.
So
So,
230.
but yeah, now I am. Let me see. I'm just looking it
He's
up
looking up on his
because
phone because he
I,
does all the stats
yeah. So
in the
at
app,
the
right?
moment, I am 224.2.
Wow, babe, 6 pounds in
Yes.
7 days.
Yes.
Congratulations, that's huge.
It is. So it's,
Wow. Do you feel like it's fat or water weight or like you don't feel like you're flat, you've lost muscle tone or anything like that?
don't I actually feel like tighter somehow. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm losing muscle. I
I can
don't.
see it in your face. I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain that reaction if that's,
I always thin out my face a
I
little bit
know
when I
you
start
do.
doing on a thing. But yeah, you lose the water, you lose everything, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm losing my muscle. Like I've done intermittent fasting before. I've done other diets and caloric restrictions and all of these different things and have lost weight. And I felt like losing muscle and
Yeah.
and by the end of it, I looked like I did. Like I was soft and I wasn't as tight as
You
I,
looked skinnier at those times.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. Throughout this whole thing, I've been nursing an injury on my arm.
That's
So
right.
I've been lifting a little bit lighter, but I don't feel like I've lost strength.
Yeah.
Even though I'm doing 2 workouts a day and dropping weight like crazy, I feel like it's just coming from my fat stores right
Yeah.
now. And that's what this ketosis is all about. It's not supposed to be attacking your muscles. It's supposed to be getting fuel from fat that's already on your body and from what you're getting in your meals.
Right.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
In case you haven't heard, I wrote a book for new moms. Actually, it's more like a roadmap. I draw from my own experiences from conception all the way up until my baby is 1 year old. I gave birth to my boy at age 42. Yeah, okay, I started late, I know. But I did it without IVF, with no hormone shots or artificial insemination. I got pregnant naturally, and I explain exactly how I did that in the book. Also, I am a chemical free, holistic person, so I decided to give natural childbirth a try. Lo and behold, I did it with ease. No drugs, no epidural, just breathing and focus. I share all of this in my book for you, sweet mama, so you too can have a beautiful birthing experience. It is possible, and I am living proof. So if you are a soon to be mama or know someone who is, pick up my book, From My Life to Mom Life, on Amazon, Kindle, or Audible today. Just click the link in the show notes to learn more. And now, back to the pod. I mean, that's great results for you. And again, this is just an informational. This doesn't mean everybody's going to have these results, but we're following you and we're talking about you. And I want to see about the result. For the main reason why you did carnivore in the first place was to do it as an elimination diet and help out with the rash on your hands that you've had for 3 years.
At least 3 or 4 years, yeah.
I know it's only 7 days in, but how has your rash been? Any noticeable difference quite yet? It might be too soon to
I mean, I
tell.
think it's a little too soon to tell with anything like that.
Yeah.
I had it pretty bad like the day before. I think we started talking about it. I had to use the steroid cream or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But typically I use it a couple of times a week, 2 or 3 times a week or something like that. This week I've only had to use it once. So,
Okay. Well, that's
I mean,
positive.
it's less. Last night it was starting to get really itchy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice any major like reactions yet, like anything that was big or coming up. But I did feel like super itchy and it was getting to the point where it was really hurting. So I just used cream and it's gone today.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That was the whole point of this carnivore thing, anyhow,
Yeah.
was to get that healing from that. But I'm learning as I go what my body needs.
Mm.
It's different
How do you
um,
mean?
because I'm not as hungry. I thought because I'm lifting and because I'm doing 2 workouts, like I really have to get in as much food as possible. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm only eating that. I'm not eating any carbs or anything like that. So I'm only eating protein, fats, and salt pretty much.
Right.
And that's it. So I just figured I would need a lot more
Because we're
volume.
always taught like calories in, calories out.
Yes,
We're always taught if you burn more calories, you create that caloric deficit, and then that's supposedly how you lose weight. Or
yes.
if you eat calories above what you burn, then you gain weight, and so on and so forth. But if we sat down and actually calculated the amount of calories, because you're eating calorie dense foods, like a tablespoon of butter or whatever I see you slap onto your side of
Yeah,
beef is like a
yeah.
tablespoon of butter could be like 200 calories or whatever. I mean, that meal you described with the 2 eggs, runny, plus butter, plus steak, plus I don't know how many ounces. I mean, that meal could have been like
That
a
could have been,
800 calories or
yeah,
something.
6, 7, 800 calories for sure. There's a lot of It's a lot of fat. It's a lot of eggs. It's a fatty piece of meat.
Yeah,
So yeah, it could have been. I honestly I don't know because I haven't. I don't. I'm not on that train of weigh everything.
yeah,
Look at how much protein, how much fat, how much this, how much that. I'm just listening to my body, and
yeah.
I listen to more and more podcasts about it on my walks and stuff, and just try to figure what's happening. I'm on different groups on social media to see what's happening. And it talks about there's a ton of people doing this carnivore thing that they only eat 1 meal a day.
Wow.
They eat a big meal, like a really big meal.
Yeah,
And then there's some people that eat 2 meals a day. And then there's some people who uh, have done this and then they're getting too much protein and not enough fat.
right.
And then all of a sudden they feel down, they feel a little out or whatever, and they eat a big pat of butter or take a bite out of a stick of butter or something like that, and
Wow.
it boosts their energy.
Yeah,
It's just crazy the different things that you hear from different people. So you're really trying to listen to your body on how and on what you need.
Right.
I've eaten pretty well and I've eaten a lot of meat
Hmm.
before this.
Yes, you are a meat eater for sure.
Yeah, it's not like my body doesn't know. There's some people I listen to and they're like vegans and turn into this. And I mean, their body is so starving for everything
Mm.
that as soon as they get into it, one guy was eating like tablespoons of lard.
Whoa.
Just, and it was delicious to him. He couldn't stop eating it because his body needed that. But he
Yeah.
like went from the skinny, boniest vegan to a very healthy looking,
Killer.
muscular guy.
Hmm.
And it was over a bit of time, not too long. It was about 100 days, I think that one was. And I'm just reading more and hearing more and more about the different things that people do and how they go through it.
Yeah.
You know, it's by listening to those people and what their reactions and what those things had. I'm
Yeah.
starting to learn a little bit more about what I need to do.
And you can learn what not to do
Yeah,
also from those. I have a quick
exactly.
story because when I went through college to study environmental sciences, one of my classes talked about the inhumane treatment of animals and the cows and the chickens, how they're jammed in these small spaces. And it was really emotional for me. So I took a stand during that semester to say, you know what? I'm not going to eat meat while I take this course because A, it was really disgusting, some of the videos they were showing us. Lost my appetite for meat, but B, it was my little way of saying I'm going to boycott meats during this semester and be a vegetarian. So I tried it out and I messed myself up in a couple of ways because I don't think I did it right. I wasn't getting the right I was just eating a bunch of salads all the time, fruit. I wasn't getting the right proteins, like I wasn't aware of like I needed beans and
Mhm.
different to replace the steak and meats I took out. As the semester went on, I noticed my body changing and was I would bruise really easily. I felt weaker. I was getting skinnier and skinnier. And by the end of I just was stuck to it. I was very attached to this project of not eating meat during
Mhm.
that time. And but by the end of the semester, I told my roommate, I said, I need a burger.
Yeah.
Take me somewhere because the semester's over. I need meat. Like I just felt so weak. And granted, there are vegetarians out there that thrive. It has to do with you got to do what's right for you. And that was not right for me. I didn't do it correctly. I felt terrible. But I'm not a fan either of counting calories. And I'm not a fan of measuring every ounce. It's difficult. It's challenging as a mom when you're juggling all this stuff and trying to feed your kid and
Yeah.
make things happen around motherhood. So, what to find for you, especially because you are a huge carnivore,
Mhm.
a diet that works well for you is awesome.
Yeah. It's been great. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel cravings for other things, which I thought I would.
And I
Like,
thought you would too.
yeah. I hear about things and sometimes I'm like, that does sound good, but it's more like the oh my gosh, I'm not gonna have that for at least 90 days
Hmm.
because I'm sticking to the carnivore for 90 days for the elimination diet portion.
Right.
And but then I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, it's not like maybe I won't have something again, or maybe I will and have it at different times, or I don't know how I'm gonna feel at the end of this, if I'm gonna want to keep sticking with it, or if I'm gonna want to change it up and, start introducing things back in. But right now, I feel really good. I don't feel like I'm overly tired. I get tired and exhausted at the end of the night,
Yeah.
but throughout the day, I'm pretty well awake, except for after I eat. Like
You get
right after
tired.
I eat, I'm like, so I didn't take out coffee, so I usually have a little cup of coffee
Hmm.
after, and I'm fine. But I listen to a lot of these podcasts and stuff like that, and yeah, that's how our ancestors did it.
Mm.
They would find a kill and they would eat until they were overly stuffed, and then they'd take a nap.
Like Thanksgiving in
Yeah,
every
I
American
mean,
household.
yeah, but they would take a nap and then all of a sudden they'd be good. And it's just, uh, it's trying to just get over that little hump in the day when you're at work and you have a big meal or whatever. Maybe I won't need the meals during the day. Maybe I'll just have my breakfast in the morning and
That's so
not
weird.
eat something throughout and just have something at night. I don't know how. It's just you eat till you're full and then you don't eat again until you're hungry.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
love my 5 or 6 meals a day. I
yeah,
always have, for many years, eaten that way: breakfast, a mid-morning
me
snack,
too.
lunch, an afternoon snack, dinner, and then I'd say 9 times out of 10, a nighttime snack.
Yeah,
Like a grazer. Like I'm such a grazer.
I thought for sure, being that I do all of these workouts and stuff like that, that I would eat 4 or 5 times a day on this.
Yeah.
I just figured that's how it was going to be. I eat pretty big when I eat. Usually, I'll have yesterday morning at like probably a third of a pound of ground beef, uh,
Okay.
with 5 eggs and butter.
Wow, that's huge.
And but that was my breakfast. I didn't eat probably again until about 2.
Mm.
And a couple of pieces of tri tri-tip that I had sliced up into steaks.
Yeah, I
I
took a
had,
bite of that. Was delicious, by the
I
way.
guess, like I'm not struggling. I'm not. It's good
No,
food. Like
you're not
I had
struggling at all.
two of those, and I think 3 hard-boiled eggs, and that was it until I think it was probably around 8 o'clock when I ate again.
Wow, that's a
And
long span.
that was after my workout and after doing all the stuff. And then, like I said, I think like I overate.
Yeah,
'Cause I ate that just thinking I got to eat something. Like
after your
I haven't
workout.
eaten in a long time. I did a workout. I have to eat something.
Yeah,
And then I ate last night and it wasn't that I was hungry, but I ate anyhow.
you
And
mentally thought I should
yeah,
probably eat after workout
and then
and
I had
before
a
bed.
little like nausea a little bit. Not bad, but a little bit of nausea. And I'm like, okay, I think I ate too much maybe. And I mean, I still woke up and still lost another pound today. I don't know.
It's so amazing how the
So,
body works.
yeah.
Are you a parent who has the hardest time getting your child to eat vegetables? Do you fight the broccoli battle on a daily or weekly basis? Does dinner time end up in tears because your child just won't budge? Have I got a tool for you? It's called Hidden Veggie Secrets, an ebook I created to help frustrated parents just like you. What's in it? Mouth-watering, tasty recipes turning vegetables into delicious foods so hidden your kid won't even know. Here are a few examples. Cauliflower pizza crust. Mac and cheese actually made with zero cheese. The cheese sauce is made from vegetables. Shh. And pasta sauce that sneaks in 4 additional veggies. Suddenly, it becomes a breeze to feed your child more healthy options. And these recipes are so easy. If this sounds amazing, which I promise you it is, get your copy of my ebook, Hidden Veggie Secrets. Click the link in the show notes. It is that simple. And now, back to our podcast. Okay, really quickly, I want to talk about your bone broth. I've been making and drinking bone broth consistently for about 6 years. I think it's since we moved here. And it's really good for lots of reasons. Actually, I did a podcast about it called Healing Your Joint Pain Naturally. That's originally why I started drinking bone broth. But I was encouraging you through the years to please have a cup with me, and you would from time to time. I'd say over the 6 years, you probably had 5 or 6 cups of bone broth.
Probably.
But now it plays a big role in this carnivore diet. Can you talk about that and how you make it and how it's different from the bone broth that I do?
The bone broth that you do has basically has vegetables in it. So you put spices, you put your carrots, onions, celery, garlic, whatever.
Hmm.
So my bone broth has nothing. It's just bones, water, goes for 24 hours. It's salt, but that's about it. So it came out thick. We put a lot of bones in it. So basically, what you do is you take it and then you strain it and put it into a bowl and then let that sit in the fridge. And while it sits in the fridge, it solidifies the beef tallow on top. The fat all rises to the top and then has the bone broth on the bottom. Normally, when you do that, you get a little thin piece of the beef tallow on top and you get it's thick, sometimes a little jello-y for the bone broth. And when I pulled this thing off, it was like a half-inch thick of bone broth, of beef tallow.
Yeah.
And then it was like beef jello.
Yeah,
It
I
was
saw it.
super thick and super gelatinous. And
You couldn't strain that. You just had to
no,
dig into it with a
I
spoon.
I strained it pretty well when I poured it in, so it there's not a lot in it, right? There's not a lot of
Oh,
you're not worried about all sediment and or different things from the vegetables and all of that kind of stuff. It just didn't have that. So when I poured it in, when I took it all out, I basically took that beef tallow, melted it down, strained it through a cheesecloth, and now I have beef tallow to cook with.
like
So
pure tallow.
it's pure white. There's no, we tried to do this once before and just use
Yes.
the other, but you had a lot of different things in that beef tallow. So it wasn't just pure beef tallow
Yeah.
from everything. So this is actually just pure beef tallow. It's perfectly white. I've been using it to cook.
So that's, I guess, considered like lard. Kind of.
Lard would be from pig, from
Okay.
bacon and that kind of thing,
Got it.
which I've also done, which is pretty cool. So I have a thing of lard in there as well from when I did pork belly and put it in the air fryer, and then
Mm-hmm.
I did the same thing. I strained it and put it in, and now I have lard as well. So yeah, but I've basically been drinking a cup a night
Of the beef
of
broth.
bone broth. Yes, but it has to be just basic. Definitely tastes a little different.
Then my broth.
Oh yeah, it's
Flavor.
all it's different. It takes a little getting used to,
I'm sure.
but
I haven't
it's
tried it yet. I'm stuck on my version
mhm.
of it.
Yeah. Honestly, you might not like it. It's very different. But I get a cup a night. I haven't been eating too much at night, so I've been getting a cup a night. Last night I didn't because I wasn't feeling up to it after that big.
Yeah, you crashed out early anyway.
Yeah.
Do
So
they recommend this beef bone broth on the carnivore diet as like a
yeah.
thing at night, a soothing way
Well,
to?
it's just to get in some fat, some collagen, it's just a good way to get some of the nutrients and some of the things that you need. It's great for your joint health, like you said, and your
Mm-hmm.
skin and everything. So, I mean,
Collagen.
being that I'm doing this for my skin,
Yeah,
I thought it would be a great thing to do.
that's
So,
awesome.
and it was pretty cool, something I learned and I did not know. But beef tallow is something that also helps for preservation.
Oh yeah, this was a cool trick. Tell them
So I
about it.
didn't know this until I don't know, there's a podcast, this guy is the bearded butcher, I think it is, and it was awesome. Like he did this whole thing on how to make beef tallow, but he put a big bunch of fat into this thing and had it cooking for a very long time, like almost 8 hours or 9 hours or something, and then came out pure beef tallow and everything. But he had a piece of meat that was wrapped in beef tallow
Mhm.
and just not even put into a refrigerator or anything like that. Just
Mm.
stored it down in the basement or wherever it was 8 years later,
8.
and they all took a bite.
Oh,
They
well.
said it did not taste very good,
Why would you do that?
but it was just to show that the beef tallow was such a preservation thing for long term.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw somebody else making bone broth, and what they did was to let their bone broth preserve longer. They would put it in their mason jars and pour it all in, and then just pour a little of the melted beef tallow on top,
Hmm.
and that created like a solid disc that completely sealed
Yeah,
the edges and everything. I did that, and then I opened one of them, and it was super sealed. It was about a half inch thick.
like a vacuum seal.
Yeah, and it makes it, there is no air because you're pouring liquid on top of it, so there's nothing for it to get bad. It stores it and saves it for a longer period of time, keeps it fresher.
We have, I just did my bone broth this morning, so we have a lot of jars of broth in the fridge right now, and I can tell yours are the ones with the white
Yeah.
tops and mine are not. But I did see this lady on TikTok. She was doing jars upon jars of beef tallow, and she melted it and squeezed it through the cheesecloth like 3 or 4 times so it was super pure. And she just was storing them in the smaller 8-ounce mason jars in her pantry. And she showed her pantry had like rows and rows. I don't know, she must have had 2 or 3 dozen jars. And she said, this will last for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like this is,
It doesn't go bad. It doesn't
yeah.
have, there's no sugars for bacteria to eat off of. Within the tallow, within lard. Like one of the podcasts that I listen to is Strict Carnivore, Dr. Ken Berry, and mentioned he said you can do this and have it like beef, have lard, and he said that's what you get. You get bacon, you get two things for the price of one. You
Huh.
get your actual bacon, which you eat, and then all the drippings from it as lard.
Yeah.
Strain it and keep it right on top of put it in a stainless steel jar, and then leave it right on top of your stove. So anytime you need it,
Wow.
you just scoop it out. You
Well,
don't have to refrigerate it because there's no sugar for the bacteria to go after.
that's
It's like,
awesome.
that's crazy.
I want to hear this podcast. If you can tell me, I'll link it in the show notes.
Hmm.
But also, doesn't that seem old school? Don't you remember? I remember my mom collecting bacon grease or oils in a jar, or actually, it was a coffee can when I was a kid. She
Yeah.
would put it underneath the kitchen sink
Yeah.
and collect it and then bust it out to scoop and cook her Mexican food in or something. Like, that's an old school kind of a way of
Yeah.
doing it. And then also, I really quickly, can you tell the people about your pork belly? Because I do have a recipe for that on my blog, which I will link in the show notes. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Basically,
awesome.
yeah, it's super simple. I just cut it into cubes. You get a slab of pork belly. It's the best way to get it. And then just cut it into cubes. I cut it into smaller pieces and just put it in the air fryer. I put it in the air fryer, poured some salt on it, and then just had it in the air fryer. I think it was at like 400 for, I don't know how long, 20 minutes or something like
Hmm.
that. But I check it a little from time to time, mix them up in there, and then spread a little bit more salt on it,
Hmm.
and then put it back in and let it go until it basically just renders all the fat down.
Yeah.
And then you have these little chunks of
Oh my
fried.
goodness.
Yeah. So I said, one of my friends is I said I was going to make it. And he's what? And I was like, yeah. I said, I just cut them into cubes and put salt on them. And it's just like these amazing little nodules of goodness. It's
Yeah.
amazing of
Like chubby
deliciousness.
bacon.
Yeah, it is. It's like a fat piece of bacon.
Yeah.
It's,
And all our things, the bones, the pork belly,
mhm.
we're getting them from our local farmer,
Yep.
Ryan at Back Creek Farms. Shout out to Ryan
Yep.
Miller. But I remember when we first moved here, because we were getting these things easily in California, a little bit
Yeah.
more easily. And I went to him and I said, "Hey, can I get beef bones from you? Because it's organic, grass-fed cows."
Yes.
And he looked at me strange. What do you mean bones? You want the bones? He used to just let them be gone to
They
the
were just
butcher,
thrown
like
off. Yeah.
thrown out. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want the bones. I do bone broth. And he was like, okay. So then I let him know, hey, there's a demand, and now he can't keep them in stock
Yeah.
really. And
Yeah.
also the pork belly. When I asked him about it, he didn't know what I meant. Of course, he
Oh,
wants the pork belly turned into bacon.
the first time we got it was just straight pork belly, but it was sliced into bacon strips.
It was like fat,
Yeah.
super fat, like 1 or 2 inch fat bacon, right?
No, it was literally just cut into slices, remember? We were like, oh, how do we even do this? And then we just salted it and cooked it
Yeah.
like bacon,
But now he gives you the
but now he
entire
gives you a
slab,
slab. Yeah. Now he
which
gives you a
is
slab because
really
now he knows a
awesome.
little bit more about it.
Yeah.
You actually gave
Yeah.
him some
I
of the
made it for
pieces. So
him.
yeah, and he realized what we were doing. He's okay. Now I understand.
That's delicious.
Yeah.
I should make him another batch.
Yeah, but it's I like knowing where my food comes from. We always go see him. We've been to his farm. We know what he does, how he does it. So
Yep.
it's good. Pretty good.
It's been a good week. One last thing, because you still have not attempted the cow heart
Oh,
and
not yet.
the oxtail that we have.
Yeah, no, I have those in there. I had a big tri-tip. I cut that up. I did a chuck roast. And I think I have some liver in the fridge defrosting right now to try that out.
Oh, so that's
So,
a new try for this week. We'll definitely
yeah.
keep you guys updated on that.
Yeah, I've never really eaten it too much, so I don't know if I will. I wanted to get a little further into it,
Mm-hmm.
being a carnivore, to see if that helps with wanting it. Because they say like your taste changed, you're going after different things now.
Yeah,
So the fact of having something that I don't normally eat, I wanted to be pretty for a little further into it than just like a couple of days. So
right. And
I
it's a
figured after
full,
this week,
it's like a whole liver. Is it
yeah,
sliced at all
it's
or?
a whole liver. I'm gonna slice it and just make thinner slices and do a little salt and see if it comes out good that way.
Because I,
So cut a
I
little
make it,
butter.
you can't go wrong with butter, but I
No,
make a mean liver pate and I love liver pate, but that has butter, fried onions and
mm,
stuff like you can't have the
no,
onion part of it. And then I
no,
spread it on crackers, which is so good. You can't have the cracker
no,
part of it.
no. So that's why I'm gonna do it this way and see if it works better.
Okay,
So
best of luck. Okay, so I want to talk about my highlight and low light of this week as your wife because the highlight for me was doing yoga together with you last week. That was so awesome because for years, guys, years, I've been trying to get him to do more yoga. I think he did it once in many years. And at the end, when the lady says namaste, you say,
namaste right here because it hurts.
because when we did this, it's so different yoga for me and you. Because when we did yoga, I was in the flow, I was stretching, I was relaxing. It's very calming for me, and I love it for that reason. And you're next to
Yeah,
me, like huffing and puffing
it's not.
and like
It's
struggling to get
hard.
in some of the poses because
Yeah.
your muscles are so tight. How was that for you?
It's tough. It is very tough to get into a lot of those positions and different things. So yeah, I had a struggle on a couple of them, but and they hold them for long periods of time on that one too, which I like because I need the stretching.
Yeah, it was long.
But
Those
it
are
was good.
2 minute holds. I
Yeah,
think it's called Kundalini yoga where it's longer holds.
whatever.
So
But
you can
it's
get
yeah,
deeper into the stretch.
yeah, which is good. It's what I needed. So
Yeah, that was my favorite part. And my low light, it's ongoing because today was a perfect example because I make these new foods or I'll cook something yummy. And like today, I made strawberry waffles for the first time. I had thawed out strawberries from the freezer, cut them into really small pieces, and used all that juice and the pieces in the waffles. And I really wanted you to try a bite. You couldn't. And they said, I made strawberry waffles. You want to try? No. And
yeah,
I got sad because
I
they
know.
were really good.
Yeah. And that's a little hard. My highlight is just it's an accomplishment every day. Like every day I'm like I have my little checklist.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a little checklist and I check everything off and when everything is checked off and then I put on day 7 complete or day 4 complete, whatever. That's an accomplishment and it's awesome. But yeah, the low light is some of those days that are a super struggle to get through it or I don't know. I don't necessarily have much of a low light.
That's good.
Yeah,
It's all been
it's
a positive experience for you.
so far it has been. But yeah, it's going well. 7 days down. We'll see what comes with the next 7.
Okay, so now I'd like to bring in our little boy to talk about how he feels about this whole thing. Buddy, hi.
Hi.
How do you feel about Daddy doing this 75 hard challenge?
A little sad because he's on carnivore diet and he can't eat popcorn, healthy pizza, a lot of things that we eat. Can't even eat ice cream, stuff like that. Can't even eat banana or fruit or apple or peanut butter, nothing.
I was just talking about that because this morning I made strawberry waffles and I wanted him to try it and he couldn't. And then we secretly had a movie day when he was at work so we could have popcorn, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to make him sad either, eating it in front of him, right? But there are some fun parts too, like we get to do workouts with him and stuff, right?
Yeah, that is true. Today, when he was the workout, I watched a Hot Wheels show with him.
So that makes it fun.
Yeah, but little. Some parts are sad, though.
We're here to support him with whatever he needs, even if it's a little bit sad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That wraps up today's episode, and let's all say it together. Thank you for listening to
A Mommy and a Mike. Bye! Woo!
The content on this podcast is provided for informational purposes only and is not intended to substitute for the advice provided by your doctor or other healthcare professional. It is not intended to be, nor does it constitute medical advice.